So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. As you know, we are in the process of conducting the SEACAP for SDG project training sessions. This is the third day of the training sessions, and that correspond to the capitalization of the selected reference projects and their outcomes. Today, we have with us representatives from the projects Priority and Priority Plus, and we are very happy to have them with us in order to showcase their outcomes and their work that they have done in the project. First of all, we will be having presentations for Dr. Monica Salvia and Dr. Carmelina Cosmi, that they are part of the Institute of Methodologies for Environmental Analysis, CNR-IMA, I think. And of course, later on, we will have the presentation from Dr. Filomena Petravertosa from the same institute regarding the outcomes from the project Priority and Priority Plus, that was its continuation. So thank you all of you for joining us today. I'm very happy for this session. And I don't know if Dr. Fercici would want to have a few more words. No, it's okay, from Rhetoric, that we are coordinating the session. So we should proceed with the first presentation from our first speaker, from Dr. Monica Salvia. Thank you very much.
Monica,
I cannot hear you. Yeah, you're muted.
Sorry, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen. It's not on full mode.
Yes, but now it is, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting us to take part in this training session. And second, to give us the opportunity to further disseminate and these two projects, Priority before and Priority Plus after. And let me start. Okay, this first presentation will be split by me and Lina Cosmi. I will start introducing the general framework in which the Priority project was developed, and I will go on introducing the toolbox, which was the main outcome of the project, and the first component, the analytical database. After that, I will leave the floor to my colleague Lina Cosmi, and she will go on with the description of the other two components of the toolbox, which are how-to briefs and the repository of good practices. And then in the following session, my colleague Filomena Petravertosa will describe in depth the fourth and maybe the most important component of the toolbox, which is the decision support tool. And in particular, she will present not only the original decision support tool developed within Priority, but also the main improvements which were developed under the following up project, which is called Priority Plus. So let me start by spending a few words on the research framework in which Priority was born, and also on the main motivation that we had in developing such a project. I think that I could say that everything started from a careful reading and understanding of the main barriers affecting building renovation in public buildings. These two figures are taken from a recent publication of the BPIE and about the Europe's buildings under the microscope. And what I think we can share today is that public authorities, especially those regarding very small municipalities, they suffer from a general lack of staff, of skills and knowledge relating to buildings and related to energy efficiency and the use of renewable energy sources. And obviously, very often local administrations lack of financial tools, lack of the necessary budget to invest in efficiency interventions. And so the challenge for us was to develop and to make available some tools which needed to be, first of all, easy to use, and also free for all, so open source tools. And the second challenge was to engage with key stakeholders and local administrators in order to transfer these tools, and then to make them use these tools, which means assist them in the use of these tools to support policy design, implementation, and assessment. So those were the main motivations under the development of the Priority Project. This was a project carried out between 2017 and 2019. And the main objective was to strengthen the policy making and strategic planning competencies of local and regional public authorities. We worked, we were 10 partners covering 5 countries in the Mediterranean area. We had these, our approach was to have per each country, and also for each pilot case study, one research institution, or any cases a knowledge institution, and one public authority or key stakeholder in that for that pilot. So we were 10 partners plus 3 associated partners in order to increase the impact of the project. And the main output we reached in this project was the priority toolbox, which was intended as a sum of few tools useful, directly useful by local administrators to assess the cost effectiveness of different energy efficiency and renewable energy sources measures. So to define different possibly scenarios based on the investment of a multiple basket of technologies, a tool that could help them to prioritize investment, but also to manage and to monitor energy consumption over the time, taking into account the overall stock of buildings under their control. And it lasted 30 months, and it was, I think, a very successful experience for the partners and for the local administrations involved. As anticipated before, as I said before, we had 5 pilots, one in each country. These pilots were very different, and I think that was a strength point for the project. And so we had 2 single towns, Karlovac in Croatia and Potenza in southern Italy. We had a department in Spain, Teruel. We had an intermunicipal community in Portugal, Lesíria do Tejo, and we had a region in Greece, West Macedonia. And although most of the scientific partners involved came from let's say from a more scientific background, in this project, as my colleague Lina Cosmi will further describe, we gave a very important we invested a lot on involvement and engagement activities, and that was done since the beginning of the project. And the idea was that we needed to develop some tools which were not only which needed to be something used by local administration. So we started with meeting the local administration and the key stakeholders in each pilot country, and we started collecting their aspiration, their needs, their expectations from this project. We started collecting or depicting the state of the art in terms of main policies and plans in the pilot cities, the data sources, the eventual models, the database, the reports they had in the local offices. We also found out that in many cases, when we start working with the local administration and you know, there is one office dealing with energy consumption, another office dealing with waste and so on. In several cases, these offices, they don't talk among each other. And in many cases, the data available to one office is not shared with the other office. So in this first phase, we found the main problems, the main concern, and so the main barriers in local administration. And we also found out that they are not used to for example, to use analytical tools in taking decision, in planning investment. They don't, as I said before, they don't share common data sources. They don't have a common databases and so on. So we found a lot of problems. And with them also selected the different municipal public building to be assessed and to be analyzed with our tools. We characterize these buildings from with the common list of indicators, and starting from these exploratory phase, we started to develop with them the toolbox, and we tested the toolbox on these pilots, and this was very useful because it allowed us to refine the toolbox according to the problems encountered and the needs arising during the process. So it was a sort of interactive mechanism, but also a circular mechanism, with many feedbacks among each phases. And so what I would like to do today is to provide a very brief introduction of the toolbox. And so the toolbox is based on 4 main components. We have how-to briefs and a repository of good practices, which will be described by my colleague Lina Cosmi in a few minutes. Then we have the decision support tool, which is probably the most, which is the component in which we invested most of the efforts and time, because it was a very complex issues to deal with. And a fourth component, which is also very important, is the energy technology and building retrofitting database, and which is in some way the core of the decision support tool, and and also came from a very big effort of review and analysis, taking into account the main databases and the main scientific studies available on energy technologies and building retrofit options. And so before leaving the floor to my colleague Lina Cosme, I would like to spend few minutes with you describing these components. And before I'm doing that, I would like to invite you to read our paper, which describes in details all the components of our toolbox. So the analytical database. First of all, the countries, considering in this database, we have the 5 countries involved in the project. So this means that the data you can find there try to depict the average situation in these 5 countries. And working with the local administrations at the beginning of the project, and discussing with them which are the main building typologies they are struggling with, we defined 6 typologies, which include cultural buildings, schools, office buildings, sport facilities, social centers, and swimming pools. Swimming pools, for example, are very, very important in Portugal. And the analytical database is structured around different end uses, which are described in this slide. So we have the building structure and passive measures. We have climatization and ventilation, water heating, water and cooking and lighting. Then we have solar photovoltaic systems and micro-wind turbines. And for each of these end uses, each category of end uses, we define a different number of measures. So which means of alternative options that can be used to fulfill these end uses. And for each of these measures, we provided data on different characterization indicators, which are around 11 in the case of solar photovoltaic system till 21 in the case of micro wind turbines. But everything will seem clearer when we look at the database. So this is an overview of the analytical database with the building typologies, the 5 countries involved, and the technologies collected by end users by renewable energy sources analyzed. So let's focus on what kind of data are included in the database. For each technology, we have data and information on the following aspects, which are technological characteristics of the technology, economic data in terms of investment cost, operation and maintenance cost, energy savings achievable using that technology, etc. And as I said before, the data reported in the database came from a massive effort carried out in looking at the main database available, main data sources, for example, the one from the Energy International Agency, from ARENA database, and so on, and also from several scientific studies published on important journals. And obviously, these are average values. So the idea was to provide average values by country for a quick calculations, and obviously, I mean, obviously, for a detailed study, this should be considered only as a starting point. But I think that the most important aspect of the database is to inform local decision makers about the different options they have. So to provide an idea of the several technological possibilities that can be considered when trying to increase energy efficiency or the use of renewable energy sources in a specific public building. And the analytical database is freely available going on our website, and here it's indicated the link. And it is made available in two different ways. The first way is to click on the download the priority analytical database button. And this first way, which I think is the most useful one, will allow you to download the full database, which was developed using in spreadsheets. So you will find this is a screenshot, one spreadsheet per each of the end-use demands and considered. So the first one is for the building structure and passive measure. Then we have climatization, ventilation, water heating, and so on. So, and for each of them, and finally the selected references per each. So you, per each of the technological option you are interested in, you will find not only the main technological, economic, and energy saving data, but also the reference from which this data came from. And the second way to obtain the analytical database is to click on one of these different end-use demands. And in this way, you will get the same table in a PDF format. So this is one example of the first part, because the tables are very long. This is only for walls, so technological option to increase the energy efficiency of walls, for example. So you will see the name, and you will see all the information provided. In particular, the title of the measure, description, the country, building typology, the lifetime in terms of years, and also some very technical information, so the energy savings, the cost, typical cost, the payback, the typical year, an average number of years for the payback of these measures, some examples, and the data sources. And this is another example for lighting. So you will see the different kind of typologies of lights that can be considered for substituting the previous one and increase energy efficiency. And that's all from my side. So I leave the floor to my colleague Lina Cosmi for a description of the other two components of the toolbox. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay. I will try to share my screen. Okay. Can you see it in the right mode?
Yes, we can see it.
Just to come back to what Monica was saying, I will briefly illustrate the idea that was behind the division in the different components of the tool. The idea was just to give different tools to support municipalities in their energy planning efforts, and mainly to give also such a kind of soft tools to support the implementation of measures and also to boost information. In this sense, good practice and auto briefs are taught for supporting general public with selected information, because a key issue of the transfer of good practice and behavioral change is to use the right language for different stakeholders categories. So we tried as much as possible to do this, giving them a lot of tools and trying to select the information to avoid overloading. In this, I don't know what is happening. Okay, so the repository of good practice was aimed at making available a selected number of outstanding examples that could be easily replicated in the different countries and mainly in the Mediterranean regions, in order to provide already a sort of database in which other people can find useful examples for their countries. In this sense, the selection of good practice was very accurate. First of all, we analyzed all the European projects that in which partners were involved, and also additional projects, scientific literature, and also outstanding experience of our partners that made available a very interesting number of good practice. We selected at first a lot of good practice, but in the end we just focused on the one that in our opinion were the most suitable for transferring, and they are of course available on the priority website, all downloadable, and you can see directly what are your favorite good practice for possible replication. So this huge work was done at the beginning, also defining a common format for their description in order to give again targeted information, not so much and not so short. And also dividing the good practice in two main categories: behavioral change and technology innovation for market uptake. In the number of good practice concerning behavioral change are a lot, because there is a great attention to behavioral changes that are the key point for steady changes. And a lot of good practice involved also schools, because young people are considered a target group that can give long-lasting results, but also cities and local authorities, and a lot of good practice also concerned different kind of involvement through gamification. That is very popular among the young generation and can really make the difference. The other 6 good practice concerning technology innovation for market uptake are concerned with the local resources. So solar, of course, is the main renewable energy source for what concern a Mediterranean area, but also geothermal is very popular, and biomass is also a resource that many countries can boost. So 6 good practices were selected in this sense, and our partners found very useful the one on solar thermal deployment, because it's a quite simply technology to be applied almost everywhere. As concern details, as I said before, most of these good practice address schools and younger people. The good practice are classified according to the type of municipal building and the use of building. Key information on the area of implementation, objective, activities, and a brief description are provided. And the implementation period in which the good practice was applied in the first country. There are also contact details of the owners that can be used for getting, obtaining more information, and also for getting in touch for the possible implementation in other countries. So we think that this good practice database or repository, as it was called at the beginning, could be really very useful to boost renewable energy efficiency and renewable energy in most of the countries, and provide an already selected number of outstanding examples. Among these, I would like to show you 2 of the most interesting. Euronet 50/50 Max, that is a good practice coming from other European projects and applied in many European countries. It is addressed at schools for energy saving. There is a win-win, is based on a win-win mechanism in which students cooperate with the technical staff and teachers to save energy with many actions decided at the beginning. The energy saving is measured, and they get from the authority that own the school part of the money savings from the energy, the electricity energy bill, for their activities and also for improving schools. This was really very interesting in many contexts, and we decided to apply it in our living lab, as I will show you after. The other, so this good practice focus on fundamental issues like climate change, sustainability, awareness, schools and students' involvement. As concern the other, I selected the most popular, that was solar thermal systems, considered a very interesting good practice, especially in countries in which solar resources a big resource for promoting the renewable. And this is just a synthesis of what can be done at municipal level for boosting solar energy. Again, the focus is on keywords of sustainability, municipal building in particular, that are our primary focus, and can be useful also for common people. The auto brief, the other soft tool that we make available to general public, but also to all interested people in our activities. This was our success, we can say, because we had a lot of fun in writing these short documents. At the beginning, it was very strange, because for people typically involved in research, It's not too easy to provide a very short document that is scientifically correct, but can give only few targeted information to general public. But in the end, it was a very nice experience. So, as I said before, these are short documents addressed to the general public. So if you are an expert on this topic, it's not your cup of tea. But of course, you can have a synthesis of main information on key issues about renewable energy efficiency, behavioral changes, etc. So they can be roughly divided in three main categories: planning intervention, out-of-brief number 1, 2, and 3, interventions, more technical, 4 and 5, and boosting intervention, and mainly addressed at behavioral changes and the involvement of citizens, and are number 6 and 7. These are short but very complete. And there is also a list of useful website and references for going in depth with the information provided by each out-of-brief. This is the 7 out-of-brief. In this, I would like to thank our colleague Nicola Fritto that provided us with such a nice graphic environment. And the list is reported. We have the first engaging stakeholder, first thing to do for any successful strategy, creating a sustainable energy action plan. That is not a straightforward issue for many people. Innovative financing, that is a very important issue for public authorities, because they complain lack of funding and lack of skills for find opportunities for financing their energy measures. And 2 more technical top uses with some nice examples of how our roof can become a source of energy or mitigate climate effects. Building envelope again for improving energy efficiency, and then 6 and 7 promoting behavioral changes. 7 out-of-brief is more technical, centralized energy management and ECT in public buildings, because this is a very key issue for improving energy efficiency. So without ECT, all the efforts are in some way not really successful, and this is a really important point on which it could be that we should consider in the next projects. Again, I will show you some examples. Last page with the references in brief and some tips, a very useful section in which you can have a piece of our out-of-brief. So the out-of-brief in short. And the strength point of these short documents are an attractive graphic, key message, and very clear key messages, and also a language that is good for everybody, experts and non-experts, and a lot of references for improving your knowledge on the topic. This is one of the most technical, building envelope and sustainable and thermal comfort in public buildings. Nowadays is a very challenging issue. Many resources are addressed to improve building envelope, especially in the light of the last geopolitical facts. And also for general public could be useful, because you can know more what you can do for your own. And I think that it's really nice to read this out of this. Again, promoting behavioral changes. So this is my favorite because we wrote this in strict cooperation with press, and we had really a lot of fun in writing this out of brief because we found many nice ways to involve people to improve behavioral changes, and it is useful for making people aware of their role in sustainability, and also their role in improving the environment and improving the energy uses. Some words on transferring and exchange, because we should say that all this work was transferred to our partners communities in a wide transferring program articulated on different events, and also addressed at different target groups. For what concern the transferring of to other people, soft measures are considered, of course, essential for the implementation of other measures. This is a fact. And in this framework, we taught at local level two kinds of events: local living labs that we will see after, and the technical workshop. The first one is addressed to general public, but also local authorities. The technical workshop are addressed at municipal staff to improve their skills and also to build their capacities. At project level, another interesting transferring method was represented by the case study visit that allowed partners to compare their good practice, to see what is going on in other countries, and in particular, two case study visits were organized in the framework of Priority, one in Croatia and one in Portugal, and in the framework of Priority Plus, another case study visit was organized again in Portugal. We had a very good return from these events, because really it was a way to involve practically people either at local level and at project level. So absolutely important in every project. The Living Lab in particular, that were taught to improve the involvement of general public, are based on a concept of user-centered open innovation, in which stakeholders are protagonists of the change. And of course, there is a wide literature on this. The idea came from the European Network of Living Labs. That is a very it's a very important source of information and also of examples. We applied the concept in a very peculiar way, the concept of a living lab, so not the traditional concept of living lab, but a living lab mainly focused on behavior in the framework of a school experience. Taking inspiration from the Euronet 50-50 Max good practice. We designed a program for involving the students in the primary and first secondary school in many activities aimed at promoting an energy culture by experimentation, but also in promoting their talents. So different kind of activities to avoid to stress a lot them on technical issues. So the objectives of this living lab were to increase knowledge and skills on energy teams in a very practical way, to raise awareness on energy consumption, because in many cases they don't know more on energy, non-deal energy consumption, to promote energy savings by promoting right behaviors. So, as I said to you, we designed this laboratory with 3 kinds of activities according to different preferences of students. School race that was based on benchmarking and win-win mechanism, and is the part that really apply Euronet 50-50 methodology, also if not exactly all these parts. Art for Energy to promote energy culture by a different way of thinking, so thinking out of the box, and Play for Energy because young people are very attracted by video games that can be a very useful educational tool. And again, thinking out of the box, so thinking as video games as an educational mean, they learned a lot on energy and also realized some video games and for these purposes. This is the scheme of the school race in some way, and the project in general. The first step consisted in set up the energy team and training the energy team. That is a team of students, staff, personnel, and teachers that leads the activities in the school and as a control and supporting the function. Define with these with all the students involved their energy charter of so the good practice that they would like to apply for saving energy, and the motto of the school to motivate them to do their best for winning the race. And then the part concerning decrease of consumption, that is a school race, monitoring of consumption together with the European Energy Company, and school benchmarking to decide who is the winner. Setup of the energy team was done by making together technician and expert and training the school energy team on energy teams in order to speed up the activities. The energy charter was also defined with the students and we will see after how, because we used the new methodologies for involvement, not really new, but very successful. And, the representative students were selected and appointed to cooperate also with us in promoting the conscious energy behaviors. The training sessions were based on the World Cafe methodology. So tables of discussion, 3 tables of discussion were set in which they decided the practice, what are the best means to give message to the general audience, how they would like to disseminate and capitalize their results, etc. So making them really protagonists of the laboratory. The energy charter is nowadays is very popular because most of these measures are being very popular for saving energy in this very bad time. But this was done in 2020, so in 2018, if I remember well, so a lot of time ago before this crisis. And the school mottos also are very interesting because the students really had fun in defining their mottos. So we think that these activities were really successful also from a social point of view. The monitoring of activities was done by the Lucanian Energy Society that owns, support the municipality of Potenza, the owners of the schools, in monitoring the consumption and their energy activities. So they compared the monthly total change in consumption in the last 3 school years, 2015, 16, 17 and 18, to define the baseline. And on this baseline, the monitoring of consumption was compared. Not as the heating system is centralized, there were not much to do on natural gas consumption, but the consumption of electricity show better how the engagement of students produced good results. The winner was the school Leopardi, that, as you can see, decreased their consumption from March to April, thanks to the application of the good practice defined in the Energy Charter. It was not possible to see this before because electrical appliances support the heating system in winter, and when winter is harsh as in 2019, of course there is a new consumption of electricity. The final closing ceremony closed this experience and involved the students in other educational activities, giving them a glimpse on how these activities can be important for the community, also supported by research institution typically devoted to disseminate the results and energy sustainability culture. So what are our considerations about this experience? Living labs can support a user-driven innovation process based on the involvement of citizens. And this participatory bottom-up approach, of course, foster an unconventional sharing of knowledge and produce learning, support networking, and generate change, effectively change. The win-win mechanism, also seen in the Euronet 50-50 good practice, is a very important way to motivate people, and in particular administrators, to reduce the energy bills, and the involvement of younger generation with a fresh touch of life to the activities, and also lead to long-lasting results, because their activities are transferred also to families that are involved in general energy saving program by their enthusiasm. So this also another important point is to create a multidisciplinary environment to boost the effectiveness of good practice and energy saving measures. The experience was also very appreciated at general level, and the regional school office asked us to promote this approach also in other schools, in particular technical schools with students from 14 to 18 years, aged 14-18, and encourage the participation to the program 50-50 max for many schools in the Basilicata region. So we were very happy to provide a good example that can be easily replicated. Of course, with a huge work from schools, but very nice results. And this means that citizens are really protagonists of the change progress toward energy sustainability. As conclusive remarks on this wide set of tools provided, why we are providing such kind of tools? Because of course it's really necessary to reduce consumption, and this can be done also by changing drastically our behavior. It is estimated that our good practice can contribute up to 20% to energy saving and increasing energy efficiency. However, we all know that power of habits is very, very strong. So you should be very motivated, and you should provide instruments for motivating the people, facilitate their active involvement, and support motivation. That is another important tool. So it is important, together with energy planning, it's important also to set awareness programs based on different tools and provide targeted information in order to motivate citizens and involve them in the activities. Cooperation and networking, in our experience, have proven their effectiveness to support a behavioral change and a societal change. And I would like to thank you all for your kind attention, hoping that this presentation can give you more tips for more food for thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cosmi, and of course, thank you very much, Dr. Salga, for your presentations today. At this time, I believe that we can ask a few questions if we have any. The participants are welcome to ask you any questions they have for your presentations regarding those two tools.
If I may ask a question.
Yes, thank you, Suha. Thank you very much.
I am Suha Shishi from the Mediterranean Renewable Energy Center, partner of the SEACAP project. So I wanted to ask about the output regarding the engagement or the raising awareness. I think it's called like this: it's engagement or raising awareness among stakeholders. I think it's the first deliverable that I saw in the website.
Yes, engaging the stakeholders, you're saying. Yes.
Yes, engaging. Exactly. So yes, if we are to adapt that delivery in our national context, because I saw that the participating countries are only from the north of the Mediterranean or from Europe. So what do you recommend to consider in order to be able to let's say for the deliverables to be applicable in our context? What are the main aspects that we need to consider?
If I remember well, because it's a long time is passed by writing this out brief, the main information are reported, so you can read it and decide what is better to do for your country, and of course consult the references in order to have more information. I know that this out brief will be transferred within the FBCT partnership program, and French translation is probably already in place, not available on our website because it's not of an activity of our project, but I think they can provide the French version. So first of all, translate the leaflet in your language and distribute it to the interested stakeholder categories. And then apply, the intention was to apply different techniques of involvement for motivating the different people categories. So of course, it's up to you to decide what is better to do in your country. For us, as I told before, it was very important to involve schools and also to find different ways of talking with people. So, for example, the word cafe methodology is a powerful tool because you are sitting all together. Of course, this is good for small groups. Or information campaign. There are many instruments available. The most successful and easy to use reported in the auto brief that, as I told before, is intended to provide a sort of summary of information. It's not addressed at people that do this for as their job. So I am not a social scientist, and I'm not charged for deciding what is the best way, but I can just give you some ideas, and you can discuss with the right people for implementing these ideas.
Thank you very much.
Is there another question?
Any other questions?
So I don't think there is another question. Maybe if you wish, we can have a short break, 15 minutes, and then we can come 15 to 20 minutes, 15 minutes, let's say, and then we should start at 25 to 30. And then we can come back to have the final presentation by Dr. Philomena Petrapertosa. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. And we can continue on discussing the project's priority and priority plus. Thank you all so much. We will be back in 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Hello. So if and everyone agrees, I think that we should start again with our new presentation by Dr. Philomena Petrapertosa about the project Priority Plus and the training material that was developed. And of course, at the end of the session, all of you will be able to have any questions to be answered. Thank you very much. So I give the floor to Dr. Philomena to present us her work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I would again thank you this project to give us this opportunity to disseminate our results in this new audience. So I'm trying to share my screen. Can you see?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. Okay. In this presentation, I'm going to present to you the. I'm going to present to you the training, the main contents of the training materials that we developed during this Priority Plus project to give support, to give materials to new users of the decision support tool, that can be in this way that they can be start using the decision support tool by using this material. My presentation will be composed by, this is a summary of my presentation. I will start to present you the main characteristics, the main activities carried out in Priority Plus project. Afterwards, I will explain, I will illustrate you the contents of the training materials, and after I will focus on the main characteristics, main aim of the decision support tool, and finally I will show you some practical example of its application in the case studies developed both in priority and in priority plus projects. So this is the website of our project, and then there you can find all the information regarding the previous priority project and update activities of carried out in the Priority Plus project, in the new project. It is entitled Transferring the Priority Decision Support Tool to Public Authorities in the MED area. It is, as said before, it is a follow-up of the previous priority closed in 2019 with the aim to transferring the main and most important tool that developed the components of the toolbox of the priorities in the new territories of the MED area. It was financed in the framework of the last call of the Interreg MED project, and its main aims is to it was built on to capitalize on the successful experience gained during the priority project. Also, Priority Plus, it is already closed. We finished the activities. We closed the activities in last June. Therefore, the Priority Plus is a transferring project that the main objective was to transfer the capacity, the knowledge gained in the priority to the new territories. The partnership was made up by 6 full partners, 3 scientific entities, the National Research Council that was also the lead partner of the project, the Nova University of Lisbon, the University of Zaragoza that was already partners of the previous priority project, and they play the role of so-called giver partners because they transferred their knowledge to new partners labeled as receiver that learn new knowledge of these giver partners. The receiver partner was the National Laboratory of Energy and Geology of Portugal, the Municipality of Narni in Italy, and the Aragonese Federation of Municipalities, Counties and Provinces of Spanish. So we have different, this given represent also new case studies with different characteristics and needs. Beside these full partners, we have also 2 external experts, the CRES from Greece that boosted the dissemination aspect of the project, and Regea from Croatia that lead the upgrade of the decision support tool. What we transfer is clear. We choose from the priority toolbox, we choose to transfer the decision support tool to assess, to give local and regional authorities an instrument, a simple and open access instrument to help them in assessment the cost effectiveness of a set of intervention among energy efficiency and renewable energy measures to increase the energy performance of municipal public buildings. This transferring was carried out through a structured capacity building programs that involved local authorities, regional partners, and key local actors. The mechanism of transferring is based on this exchange among giver partners that have experience and knowledge on the decision support tool, and receiver partners that were assisted during all the course of the project. This is to summarize the main activities of the project. We upgrade during this follow-up of the priority project. We upgraded the GST tool to made it more simpler and to better characterize the municipal public building in new territories. We organize thematic seminars in each nation, in each country involved, to disseminate this tool in new territories, and yes, during all the project we offer support. The giver partner offers support to receiver partners in the use, learning use of this tool. The main output of this project was the memorandum of understanding, at least 3, but we went behind this target because we obtained during the Priority Plus project, we obtained more than 3 memorandum signed. They in particular represent the engagement of the new territories in using the decision support tool and its concrete adoption by local administrators. In particular, we obtained 11 memorandum, 9 in the framework of the Priority Plus that was signed by cities, municipalities, and regional agency, and other signed in the framework of the collaboration, or the effectiveness collaboration with the efficient building community in the framework, in particular in the framework of efficiently in city twinning project. So thanks to this collaboration, the tool was already translated also in French language. And now let's see the contents of the training materials. This is a summary of what you will find in this training, in these materials. So we have this chapter, and that summarize the main technological options for each energy use, and provide an overview of technical options to reduce energy consumption, in particular the first 2 chapters. The other The others are mainly tutorials for using the decision support tool. All the material, all this training material is available obviously in English, but we translate all in all the chapter in Italian, in Portuguese, in Spanish, and in Spanish. Okay, let's see the first, the contents of the first chapter. In this chapter, you will guided through the characterization of the main components that influence the energy consumption on the building. In particular, you will see a reference building for which for which there are characterization of the local and climatic, all the parameters that can influence the energy performance of the building. So the condition, the location and climatic conditions, the characteristics of the building envelope, so roof, windows, and the characteristic of the energy of the heating and cooling systems, the lighting, and all kind of electrical devices. And thus, you will all these components influence the final energy, the final energy consumption of the building. And it is the first stage that you have to do if you want to characterize a building from energy point of view. In the second chapter, starting from the same reference building, you will find information on technological options to increase energy efficiency and so to reduce energy consumption. In particular, you will find information on building, on technical information of technology, of available technologies to reduce consumption that are organized in low investment options and high investment options. And as already said from my colleague, we made a lot of attention also to the so-called soft measures. So all the measures regarding the changing behavior, because they represent a good part of the energy consumption of a building, mainly public building. So you will find in this way, you will find also information and some tips for better manage energy consumption in public buildings. All these options are also available, are also linked to the how to brief already presented by my colleague Lina. They represent in how to brief you will have a first information, first and fast information on technologies available and also behavioral change options. In this training, you will have the possibility to go in deep in these arguments. The chapters from C to J, the last chapters, are mainly tutorial that help new users in the use of decision support tool. So you will have accompany through all the phase from the beginning. So, for example, the registration and the insert of data input in the web interface. where do you find the decision support tool? You have two options. You can do in the priority website, and you will find here you will find the training materials. The training materials you can reach among you going in the deliverable database in the priority website, or in login in the decision support tool, and I will show you in the next slide how where you can find it in the help section of the decision support tool. You will have all the chapter of this training. Okay, now I would explain exactly what the decision support tool is. Okay, well, first of all, it is an online based tool. You will find it by directly going to the link in the yellow box, or you can reach it by the priority website. In the priority toolbox, you will find in the Windows the decision support tool. So you will see this screen in which you can click and go to the login. You can simply register there, and after a few minutes you will receive authorization for your identification. Its main aim is to help local, as already said, the local and the regional authorities in evaluation of potentials for energy retrofits. It is created for different levels of users, and I will explain better what I mean in the next slides. And it is completely free of use. You need only to register. And the results can be evaluated both for single building or for a group of buildings in a benchmarking evaluation. Currently, there are around 50 users and 600 buildings inserted in. And what is the main opportunity offered by the decision support tool to local administrators? It can help the decision-making process. The local administrators can have support in the decide where intervene, in what building, and with what kind of measures, energy efficiency or renewable energy installation, to reduce energy consumption of their buildings. So they have a support in find the best solution, where apply, where use available budget for increase energy efficiency, and so reduce energy bills of the buildings. They have different level of use. It has a different level of users, as I said before, because in sense that you can fill in to characterize, to use the decision support tool, you have to characterize your building stock. So from the energy point of view, so for characterize the building stock, if you have energy performance certificate, you can use data already there to respond to the to fill in the required data. But if you don't have, and I know that it could be difficult to reach all the information required, that mainly are data on technological installation devices present in the buildings, or energy consumption for heating, for cooling. If you don't have this information, you can use the database already inside the tool. Obtained indications not so accurate, but first screening of the buildings. And so once you have characterized your buildings, you can go to the results. Results can be had for a single buildings and consist of energy consumption, the reduction of energy consumption, depending on the intervention measures selected, and or results for a group of buildings. In this case, you will have a list of interventions per building, and a possibility to choose what could be the best option for your case. Can I have? Yes, this tool is useful also for have a database of energy characteristic of building stock of municipalities, because in our experience we saw that very often municipalities don't know exactly what are the energy consumption of the buildings. And it could be also a good instrument to support the drafting of the sustainable energy and climate action plans in the framework of the Covenant of Mayors. Okay, during the Priority Plus project, we try to we improve the front end and the back end functionalities of the decision support tool. In particular, we modify the input layout, and we have a new final report directly in that can be downloaded directly in Word, in MS Word, and we perfectionate the translation of the interface and tutorials in the languages of the project, to which was added the French language. We updated the database and improved also the calculation routine for the Spain, Italy, and Portugal case studies. And now there is, in this version, there is also the possibility to characterize also at regional level, the climatic parameters that are useful for deriving more accurate results. Okay, we produce self-learning tutorial and improve and update some parts of the training documentation. In the course of the Priority Plus, the decision support tool was applied in new territories, in particular in Spain, in the municipalities of La Zuera and La Muña, in Portugal, in the municipalities of Arruda de Vinhos, in the buildings of the NEG, and in 6 municipalities in the region of Area Tejo, and for Italy in the municipality of Narni. But we, thanks to the collaboration with the city partnership twinning program, the DST was also applied in 2 new communities in Italy and in North Africa. What is the new, what is the process that followed the DST to the first phase of the priority project to now? We selected this DST among the available tools. It was a tools this in particular was a tool developed by the Regional Energy Agency of the northwest of the Croatia, the REGEA, that used, it was based on an Excel, and it was used by REGEA for the drafting of the local energy, the SEACAP, local energy action plan. During, so it was selected as it was the characteristics we were searching during the priority project. It was simpler and open access. So during the course of the priority project, it was transformed in a web application. So in this way, it became simpler to use. Thanks, this was obtained thanks to the collaboration of all the partnership of the priority project. It was tested and in different case studies. And in the course of the Priority Plus project, it was further improved to obtain a simpler version, a simpler and more completed version, web version. This is this slide show you what is the home page of the DST. As you can see, the first page, the home page provide a summary of the main parameters entered for all buildings. You can have a map that allocate all the case study, all the buildings inserted. You can zooming. You can see clicking on the pinpoint. You can see the main information of the building that is located in the exact place. You can obtain, because when you insert a new building, you have to indicate also the exact position. And this screenshot show what are the main elements that are needed to define for insert a new building. So you will describe the external walls, you have to characterize windows, roofs, and floors. And the final report that you will obtain is a report, a summary of consumption of the reference scenario in the current state of the building. And so you will find the results for a single building or for a benchmarking. And for benchmarking, you will find a list of buildings in order of priority according to the selected criteria. And this is very useful because you are available all the information in a document easily that can be easy to browse. Yes, I have already said that we have a tutorial that are available in the help section of the decision support tool, but we have also videos prepared in the framework of the Interreg Euromed Academy that are that guide you in the use of the tool. And finally, I would show you some results obtained from case studies. As Monica, my colleague, said before, in the framework of the priority project, the decision support tool was applied in 5 pilot studies in the 5 countries, partners of the project. And each of them was characterized by different needs, different background, and with also different objectives. What we did, we analyzed in total more than 200 buildings in different sectors. Always municipal but public buildings, but also schools, but that can be schools, offices, swimming pool, and so on. In these results, the decision support tool was applied to not only to give I don't know, to give an overview of what the possibility that municipalities can have for reducing energy consumption, but we go further, providing we made local action plans for each case studies. So something that cities, municipal participant cities can use in their future planning of activities. And in the Priority Plus, we applied in 3 receiver partners and 2 associated partners. I have already said what are the case studies. Here they are also reported on the map in 3 countries. Okay, this is an overview of what we have done. We analyzed about 80 buildings in 3 countries in different building typology. In particular, if we can see what we have obtained for each application. Here I reported the application to the Portugal case studies. They had different location of the different building coming from NEG. That is the national laboratory that are mainly offices. The Arena Tejo buildings and the Aruda Dovigno buildings. The main objectives of this application was made, first of all, renovation of public buildings and find a solution to adoption for packagings of renovation that will include energy efficiency measures and renewable energy integration. Portugal, they selected buildings with energy performance certificate. So they use this certificate to compile, to fill in the required data input of the decision support tool. And they obtained, these are an extraction of the results obtained for the LENEG buildings. They are mainly new buildings, so for some of them was a find that only very expensive intervention could be increase more energy efficiency. In Arruda do Vinho, they decided to have as decision-making indicator both the amount of energy savings and payback period. And regarding Italy, we applied to the municipality of Narni. They concentrate mainly on schools because they have a twofold objective: putting secure their schools from seismic point of view and increase energy efficiency. They choose to build. They characterized all the schools in their territories that are mainly very small schools, and decided to take into account, to consider as a decision-making indicator an index based on 5 criteria that are mainly seismic vulnerability index and energy efficiency level achievable, also the school level, if they gave a point for each of these indicators. And these are the main graphs obtained by the decision support tool. So each users can choose what can be the best indicators for their particularity needs. In Spain, they have the DST was applied in 2 municipalities, and the main planning objective were the renovation of the infrastructure of public buildings, and in particular considering the boiler replacement in several schools, implement renewable energy in public buildings, in particular using photovoltaic panels and biomass boilers, and try to have some fund for financing this kind of intervention. The decision-making indicator used in Spain case studies was the payback period. They made their consideration of the kind of intervention and for each kind of buildings, and choose. They have chosen what were those interventions that have a payback period less than 15 years. And yes, and that's all. If you have question or some curiosity, I'm here. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Petrapatosa, for your interesting presentation today regarding the Priority Plus outcome. Do we have any questions for this presentation? It would be useful to have some input, whether you have a question about the material, about the results from Portugal, etc.
Hello, I would like to ask a question. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Okay. I am Dimitrios Ziritas and I work at MES Energy, who is a subcontractor of the University of Patras in the SEACAP for SDG project in Greece. So I want to ask two things about the tool. The first has to do with the access. So I tried to sign up for an account some days ago, and I still haven't have access to the tool. And I wanted to ask you, is this because of the email, or I'm not sure actually.
I'm sorry for this.
It's okay.
No, I will. Sorry. The account are managed by the Regea. So if I will ask him what are the problem with your email. I don't know.
Okay, so the thing is that I'm still, so even though I sign up for the account, when I try to log in, it still says that my username is not valid, and yeah, password is not valid and stuff like that. So
yes, because
yeah.
you have to receive the authorization before, so
Yeah,
maybe there was a problem. Yes, if you give me your email, I would ask Marco Cavar from Regea to resolve your situation.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I can
So,
facilitate this exchange if you wish to, since we are responsible for MES Energy, our external partner. I can directly exchange the email with you, Philomena, so there's no problem. Okay, thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, and one more question. I wanted to ask you if you could say again what happens with the tool in case there is no energy performance certificate for the building, and what is the necessary type of information that the user should gather about the building in order to use the tool.
Okay. If you yes, you can follow both the path. If you have energy certificate, you will have easy, yes. But otherwise, yes, you have to collect some information. If you, but okay, I'm trying to log in the decision support tool, so you can see together what happened. If you have time, I don't know what happened if when you introduce a new building.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem. Okay. You have to go to building and new building. You can here you have to check to choose in what region do you want to have these new buildings? Because you will find the climatic parameters already set. So I choose it.
Is Greece an option there? Because I didn't see it now in this drop-down list.
Yes, I see the same. Region, yes. No, the problem is that I am a user, so only Italy.
Okay. Okay.
This is why, because I see only Italy. So you have to put name, address, city, and if you have a picture and technical info, you have to select what kind of building is. So sport facilities, cultural offices, educational, the total area, heated area, and this is for the energy certificate. On average 8 of the room, the primary energy source used, you can choose among electricity, natural gas. This is a parameters already set because I choose Italy. And you can move in buildings part. You have to characterize the building, so the external walls, and you can choose information of area, if there is the state of the insulation, a roof, and afterwards you have the lighting system, the energy consumption. Here you have to collect, you have certain information of space heating technology and electricity consumption. This is new. Water consumption is not yet implemented.
So it would need like detailed information, because I saw in the building parts you also need to insert the heat transfer coefficients. So one would need to do a building inspection and record all the details.
If you don't have all the information, no, if you don't have all the information, you will obtain less accurate results, but you can the same start to have an idea of what the building have.
Okay. Okay, I see. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there another question that we would like to have at this point? So at this point, I don't see any raised hands and another question. I would like to thank everyone that had joined us today for the training session of the Priority and Priority Plus projects. Of course, all the material and the recording of the session will be available. And if you wish to have additional questions for our trainers today, Dr. Monica Salvia, Dr. Carmelina Cosmi, and Dr. Filomena Petrabertosa, we will be able to give you contact information to have any of your questions answered. I want to thank everyone and thanks to today's speakers. Regarding the material for the participants, I want to let you know that we decided to have it sent to you bi-weekly in order to avoid any confusion regarding the sessions, etc. So at the end of this week, you should receive all the sessions material that we are conducting during the first these days of October. So thank you very much. I don't know if anyone else wants to say a few words. This is pretty much it. So thank you all. I hope to have useful use of the materials you have shown us and your tools. We will be able to showcase them during our work for the SEACAP project. And of course, we will be communication if more necessary information is needed, and if we have further questions, and we want to discuss further with you on your outcomes. So today's session is finished. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye
Thank you very
bye.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.